Clearly Off Topic.
Two friends,
One unique conversation.
driven to learn, inspire, create, and understand.
All right, okay, listen. We're just trying to be good humans and make the world a better place.
How hard could it be?
Hey guys, welcome. What are you doing?
I have a stopwatch.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clearly Off Topic. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Juliet, and Lindsay freaked out because I had a stopwatch.
She's got a sports bra on, a stopwatch, and sneakers. And our guest today is dressed like a lady.
Well, our guest today is a lady, and she's also a recording artist and an actress.
Yes.
And we're so excited to have her on the show because she's got a lot going on. So I hope you guys are all excited to listen to Miss Anie Delgado.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Anie is awesome. We found her through her publicist, who is also a really wonderful lady. Shout out.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your upbringing. You're from Miami.
Yes.
And now you live here in LA. Walk us through that.
Yeah, I grew up in Miami, moved to Melbourne, Florida, which is a small beach town when I was in elementary school. A little bit different than Miami, way quieter, way slower, lots of time to think about life and, get into music. So that's where I got into music, and I ended up moving to New York City to do conservatory there. And I spent about 5 years there, and now I've moved to LA. I'm a brand new Los Angeles person. I love it here.
Los Angelino.
That's
Apparently.
the phrase.
I don't even know what it is. And
I'm
I've
a
lived
new
here
Los
forever.
Angelino, and I don't have to do winter anymore, so it's great.
Yeah, winter. I don't know what that is.
What's winter?
If someone gave me winter, I would give it back.
I'd be like, no.
I'd be like, there's a receipt, right? I don't want to.
Do you have a gift receipt with that? Thank you.
I don't even want to exchange it. I just want you to take it away.
I just want to return it.
So you said you got into music at a very young age. How old were you?
I guess formally, I was in elementary school. I used to carry around a little book and write songs in it. This is before I even knew an instrument or anything. I just kind of was writing, poetry, and I'd probably mumble, sing it to myself. And then when I saw Freaky Friday, the one with Lindsay Lohan,
oh yeah,
shout out to my girl. I thought she was super cool with her guitar, and I was like, I want a guitar, and I want to be like her. So I got a guitar, and that's when I really started writing songs, and I think I was 10.
Do your parents do music? Or you come from a musical family?
They're not professional musicians, but my dad loves piano. He used to play piano as a kid. My family's from Cuba originally, so he didn't really want to go to Cuba.
We want to go to Cuba so bad.
I've never been, but I really want to go.
Oh, my mother-in-law got engaged there.
That sounds
They just went. They were on one of the first flights out to Havana. That was after all the things were lifted.
Yeah.
And then they immediately got engaged. And Joel and I were like, you went on the trip we wanted to go on. You got engaged before us. Whatever.
That sounds amazing.
I know. So I'm really just jealous, and now I have to go.
So are you full Cuban? Are both your parents?
I'm half Cuban.
You're half Cuban.
Yeah, my dad's family's from there. So anyways, he was a pianist as a kid, but he didn't really have the options I have. So because of that, he's really passionate, and he was always really passionate about supporting me and what I wanted to do. So there was always music in the house, and he would play piano. He just bought himself a baby grand, which is adorable. Now he plays all the time. It's I'm practicing so I can play with you one day. So though they're not professional musicians, they love music. My mom loves dancing.
Oh, very fun. What kind of dance does she do?
She loves disco. She's not a professional dancer again, but she will throw down for some ABBA songs. So
that's amazing.
Lots of musical influences from Cuban music, obviously, to classic rock. My dad loved Led Zeppelin growing up, to ABBA and all sorts of...
And all the early electronic almost feel from the 70s.
Oh, yeah. They used to go to all the cool clubs in New York, so back
fun.
in the 70s, discoing.
When you were in New York, did you try and go to some of those clubs, or how was your New York
Oh,
experience?
totally. I'm not big on clubs. I'm kind of a grandma in that way, but I used to go to Webster Hall when it was there. RIP, it closed down.
Oh, no.
But it was really weird to know that my parents used to hang out there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, if you have cool parents, it's
yeah, I don't have cool parents.
You kind of want to follow in their footsteps.
Exactly.
Sorry,
I had to see what I was
love
missing
you, Don
out
and
on.
Jack.
Yeah. My parents are so boring. But yeah, well, that's awesome. I lived in Florida for a little bit when I was a kid, Fort Lauderdale, and I just remember, and this is because I come from the most whitewashed family in the world. I just remember getting there, and people from Venezuela are very light skinned, and a lot of South American people are very light skinned, and so I just remember I walked into a Baskin Robbins to get ice cream. And they addressed me in Spanish, and I was just like, what is going on? I'm from New Jersey. Get me out of here.
You're like, hola.
And I'm like, hi, how are you?
I kind of get the opposite. In New York, I lived in a very Dominican Republic populated neighborhood, and they'd just be like, is your husband Spanish? Why is your last name Delgado? And I'm like, well, No.
You're a husband.
Not old enough to be married.
Yeah. You're like,
you don't have child marriage there.
oh, I know. Geez, this is not. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, just based on your looks, like how you're treated in different neighborhoods is funny.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys can't see her. We're gonna take a picture of her later. But
oh my God, she is
very
adorable.
fashionable. So you're also. Are you interested in fashion? I know that's part of your aesthetic as a performer. You're always kind of on.
Yeah.
So does your thoughts go into that? Did New York have an influence on that, or Miami? Or...
Totally, yeah. My aunt is actually in the industry. She went to Parsons for graphic design and whatnot. She ended up at Glamour magazine, and now she works at Nordstrom as an art director. So she's kind of been my like inspiration for fashion all this time, and she got me interested. I used to want to be a fashion designer, but then I realized I hated sewing. I had no patience. So I've been like kind of fashion adjacent my whole life, and like, you know, running my Instagram account, I gotta like make sure I look good and all that, but I'm always texting her and asking her for like fashion advice more than anything else.
That's what I do to Lindsay.
Yeah.
And then she tells me not to wear it, and I do it anyway.
Juliet loves putting like
There you go.
the darkest navy blue shirt on with a pair of black pants, and I'm just like, you just have to stop. You have to stop.
Sometimes I do it just to piss
She
Lindsay
literally
off.
does. She'll come to my house and be like, do you like my outfit? And I'm like, no, I don't.
So Lindsay and I have known each other for almost over 10 years now, right?
Yeah, over 10 years
Over
now.
10 years now.
Gross.
And in college, Lindsay used to try and dress me, and I'd be like, no.
Well, she would walk in my room and be like, does this look good? And I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, no, absolutely not. I mean, like, separately, yes. Together, no.
Separately, yes.
That's friend goals, though.
Yeah.
Friend goals.
Keeping it real.
It's fine. So you're also an actress. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about being a creative human, you kind of bleed into all different sectors of that.
Yeah, I think Juliet's a good example of that too. Like when you like have the bone to create, you're just like, I just want to do it wherever I can, and your like little roots kind of like go into everything.
Oh yeah,
so,
totally.
Oh, I'm a tree.
You are a tree.
I'm a tree. I like this.
We love these woo.
That's a nice thought.
We love these woo woo things.
Yeah,
I'm
about to get woo wooed. I want to be a tree. So I guess in your acting, do you bring that on into your on stage performances, or do you keep them totally separate? Like right now, I'm doing a verbal singing thing, and now I'm doing an acting thing.
Yeah, do you have boxes?
Yeah, I mean, I did musical theater for a while, so definitely that combined the two passions. For some reason, I thought that like musical theater was a more realistic career when I was like picking colleges and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I went to conservatory for that, and it was cool because I was like, oh, I can sing and act, and like there's a trajectory. You can work at regional theaters, you can move, work your way up to Broadway, whatever. But ultimately, I kind of found that I really liked like keeping them separate. Mm-hmm. But I did, because I'm like such a type A, like perfectionist overachiever. I was like, all right, I'm going to do all the things, and whatever sticks, and then I'll use that to cross over into other things. Kind of like Donald Glover, who I saw this weekend. Oh, that's amazing. That is such an inspiration.
Oh,
yeah,
that is
Juliet
who
is so upset.
I wish I could have seen is Donald Glover. I love him. He is the best. Charles Gambino.
So
like
good.
He's so good, and he's
So
breaking so many
good.
different boundaries. So that brings us to Coachella.
Yeah, I was sadly in Big Bear watching it, so I had actually a great view on the television.
You probably have a better view than me, to be honest.
But oh my God, he is just so incredible as a performer. I like couldn't get over it.
It was wild, and like that's a great example of what you were saying, bringing your acting to music and vice versa.
He does everything.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at his face and stuff as he was performing, he was definitely acting. He was a persona, and I love performing, so I hope that like my acting experience helps project my performing and my stage persona like down the line.
Oh, I never thought about it like that. See, I'm
Never
not an actress, so like I don't really think about how those things mesh together. And you're right. When somebody's out there putting on a performance, whether it's musical or it's just acting, you kind of have to pull from everything you have inside of you. And yeah, with your singing, that's gonna cross over well.
It transcends. I mean, I'm happiest when I'm on stage or I'm on camera or I'm acting, because you transcend a different part of yourself that doesn't exist unless you're on. Like if I'm walking around, and some people are on all the time. I'm not one of those people. Like I'm me pretty steadily all the time.
Yeah.
Pretty truthful to who I am. But I love being on stage and just being a higher level of myself.
Yeah, elevating. Like it's very fun. It's very immersive. It's all the like analytical work before, and then also being in the moment and like presenting it.
And feeling that I love it when it comes together when preparation meets your personality, and how that just creates such a magical zone. Because if you haven't done the prep, you're going to be nervous and you're going to be out there. I'm not prepared. But if you worked really hard and then you just be yourself, it's just this little magic burst happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can like surprise yourself. It's super fun.
So what do you prefer? Do you prefer being in the studio and creating in the studio and creating an album, or do you like live performance better?
I love writing and I love being in the studio, but I just like performing is my like true love. Like I keep telling my manager, I'm like, I gotta write a song and get it out and get, several songs out so I can get out there and start performing. And
I can't wait for that.
Touring, we're coming. So
you're inviting
and touring,
us
like most
now.
people are like, ugh, I don't want to be on the road. I'm like, put me in a bus, like I don't care.
You're like, please, I want the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I would want that. I would want a tour bus.
Road trip.
Exactly.
And it's so cool because when I think of like touring performers, I think of like the Beatles, and I think of I don't really think of today's artists for some reason.
No,
I just
neither
go
do
right
I.
back to Woodstock. I'm like, it's gonna be like get a Volkswagen.
Everybody's
van.
gonna get a bus. It's gonna be great. There's gonna be lots of weed smoking. I mean, what? Nothing. But yeah, I go to Almost Famous. When they're all on the bus and they're just like
great example, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yes, I go to Almost Famous. And I don't know. Have you toured before? I obviously haven't. But.
No. I've mainly performed around New York. I've performed a few times in LA, like on visits before I moved here.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm hoping that in the next few years I can make it happen.
Oh, I'm gonna be on that bus.
I mean,
I'm gonna Almost Famous that.
We're gonna Almost Famous that. We're gonna be like, I'm Penny.
invited.
We're here for the party. Don't worry.
So walk us through your process.
Yeah,
I'm
this
so
is
interested.
This is something that we've been talking about for the last couple of days. Is that like we want to know what is that creative process? Like, do you sit down, do you write and then record? Do you get a bass line and then try to start from there? Like, what's your process?
Or do you just wait until something comes and you're very motivated in anger, love, passion? How does it work?
It's weird when you start doing music professionally because you kind of have to make inspiration happen every day of your life, and you have to always be writing and whatnot. So back when I was just kind of like dipping my toes in, I would just like write kind of like literally on the subway all the time. And like whenever I was feeling something, there's like 1.5 million like notes on my phone of just like random lyrics that may or may not have a melody, just kind of like whatever. But nowadays, and my producer said something really that got me, because so much in this industry now, people are trying to attach you to a brand and tell you what you are and yada, yada, yada. So, there was a point in time when I was really writing for the brand, and I was like, all right, I'm an edgy girl. Like, I have to write an edgy song. So, like, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. But what I really love about, like, my process nowadays, thanks to what this producer said, he was like, don't worry about genre, don't worry about brand, don't worry about anything you're developing. Sit down and write something honest. So I have my guitar always, I have my keyboard. It's weird, I learned guitar first, but I know music theory on the keyboard. So like, I write on the guitar and then I have to figure it out on the keyboard. Mm-hmm. And I just start with what I'm feeling the most of, or memories are really big for me. Visual things are really big for me. Like there was a night a few years ago when I had gotten dumped the day before my birthday, and I went out, and it was a really vibrant night though, because there was a lot of colors that I remember and a lot of environments and stuff, and I took notes. Anytime I'm feeling things, I take notes on my phone, which is a little strange, but yeah. Anyways, that helps project it. And if I'm feeling something and I'm I felt this feeling before, I go back and I'm you know what, I can write about that today because I'm having the same kind of visceral connection to it. And then yeah, I try not to be too critical. I try not to edit what I'm writing in the moment, and just get something out, and then listen back, and if it's worth pursuing, I go after it, and I try and find all the details and what makes it a good story.
I love that producer said, don't worry about brand, don't worry about these things, because that's how you're going to make authentic music.
Absolutely.
And there's so much crap out there. There's so much crap music, there's so much crap movies. We were just talking about crap movies.
Oh my god, I'm just mad about how many movie tickets I have, and I can't use them because there's nothing I even remotely barely want to see. I'm waiting for all the Disney movies to come back.
Oh yeah,
I'm ready.
Live action.
I am ready.
I think that in this day and age we live in, access does not equal quality.
Yeah,
just because you can make YouTube videos, just because you can make a podcast, just because you can sing, does not mean you can create good content. And nowadays, I love the accessibility. Mm-hmm, I'm loving that. Lots of doors are opening, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. You should always do work on yourself. You should come from an authentic place.
Yeah, definitely.
And that comes through in your music, which is why you're having the success you're having.
Definitely, yeah. That's basically what I told him. He was like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And we had our first meeting, and I was like, "I want to do pop music. I love pop music, but I do not want to do what every pop artist is doing right now."
Yeah.
And there's a very clear like what that is out there, like kind of urban pop, like trap beats and all that. And I love trap, but like, I was like, if I can do anything, I really want to be like just left of center. And yeah, that's come from like experience working with people who tried to put me right in a box, right in the center. I've had somebody tell me, you're going to be Little Kim meets Ariana Grande meets Beyonce. And then we wrote the sexiest, like, bump and grind music you've ever heard. And I was like, wait a minute, like, that's like me stepping to the right, putting on a different outfit, and then, like, having a whole different persona. So starting with myself has really empowered me to write stuff that I'm proud of.
And longevity-wise, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think, like, I will always grow and evolve as a person, but I can't grow and evolve from like a fake person.
Yeah, who is that? You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you look at like all the pop, like, because we were talking about pop, right?
Yeah.
And, like the pop stars of the 90s, like when we were kids, they all had these crazy mental breaks, and that's because people were putting them in boxes.
Yeah,
so it's so beautiful that there's producers out there that are supporting artists and who they want to be, and not just what they want them to be so they can make the most money off of them, so that, because you can be a singer-songwriter and have longevity in the industry if you're writing what's authentic to you, and you're not having to switch on and off whenever a fan sees you in the street or, anything like that. You're going to the grocery store, you just want to be yourself that day. But if yourself is what you're putting into your music, then you can always be who you are, wherever you are.
Exactly, and it's comfortable and it's great. And I'm starting to like get people on Instagram who like want to hear my music and whatnot, and I am real with them there, and I talk to them and whatnot. So I never want them to. I don't want this switch to happen, and then the people that have been there supporting me from the beginning just, like not know what happened.
Yeah, to just be like, oh, she got a deal, and now it's over, right?
There's enough falsity in the world. You don't need to add to it.
Totally.
There's enough there. So what motivates you the most? Is it love, anger? It's my stopwatch, guys. I'm not going to edit that up. So yeah, I mean, what emotion do you really just like? Oh, I have to write. Is it all of them?
I know I learned something about myself this weekend while at Coachella, and I had like a very visceral moment where I was kind of just like watching everybody have fun, and I was like, oh, I fucking love people so much, and I think that is the core of like who I am and like how and what like people's energies are very like they rub off on me big time. So I think that that's at the core of what I write. I'm working on a song now about that. And over the weekend I just kind of realized I love people so much that it like disappoint. Like sometimes it's like overwhelmingly disappointing when people disappoint me. So there's that duality that like affects me a lot, and so I think that that's the thing that I'm drawn to writing about a lot right now. Love, I'm like I can write a good love song, but I'm like I always want to write something darker or more interesting or more with something with more of a duality than just like love.
That's beautiful. I love that you said that about, especially at Coachella, and I think a lot of people who've gone to that festival, you have these moments of ahas. And I remember, I forgot who I was listening to because I'm the worst with musical names.
We love aha moments, by the way. This is like my and Juliet's favorite thing. I'll call her and be like, Juliet, I had 3 aha moments yesterday, and you have to stop whatever you're doing because we're going to talk about it right now.
And we're eventually going to have a segment about aha moments on this podcast.
Yeah, we have plenty of them.
We haven't done it yet.
So many notes on our phones.
But I forgot what year it was. Probably like the 3rd year I went to Coachella. So I'm at Coachella, and I am frolicking around, probably doing cartwheels, just having a wonderful time as usual. And I hear this band playing, and it's great, and it's like rock and roll, because I love rock and roll. I love all music, but I love rock and roll. So I'm like, yeah, it's my jam, so I'm rock and rolling. And that song ends, everyone claps, and they come on, and they start talking about a friend who had committed suicide, and that they didn't plan on playing this song, but it happened, just before Coachella, and they wanted to play this as a tribute to him. And this song was so simple. It was beautiful. I don't know these people. I don't know their friend. I start sobbing in the middle of the song. And it was incredible that music can take you to such highs and then such deep emotional trumps in a matter of minutes. Like, how long is a song? 2 minutes?
Yeah, maybe 3.
Maybe 3. And I was just sitting there on the grass just crying. And like happy tears because their love came through that song so deeply. And that was my aha moment of just music is such an incredible genre of art.
Of anything,
yeah. Of anything. And it crosses all boundaries. Like, you didn't have to know that they lost a friend to feel the love from that song. because the authenticity was coming through it. Not to keep using that word, but you felt it, you know? They weren't up there pretending to miss their friend.
Well, we love live music. And I mean, I am so, like, I love so many different genres of music. Like, I love so many. Like, I went to Stagecoach. Don't at me, listeners. Okay, listen.
I would go to Stagecoach.
I went to Stagecoach. I've been to Coachella. I go to raves. I go to Burning Man. Like, I've listened to all arrays of music, and I love it. And when I can get in front of an artist and they can perform, you can tell when it's them behind those lyrics. You can tell when it's them behind those words. And that's so important to me, as just like, I am not musically talented. Sure, I can play the guitar. Not well, but I can.
You used to sing.
Just not well. But I did. But yeah, so I mean, we like, I don't even remember what I was saying. I lost it. But you know, it's just such a beautiful thing. And you can listen to so many genres of music and still feel that coming through, no matter what kind of music it is.
Yeah,
if somebody's really feeling themselves or feeling that song or feeling that emotion that they personally put into it, I can tell. And I love that you put your own emotion into it and you're not putting yourself in boxes that the industry is forcing you into.
Totally.
Do you view music differently? You know how some people like can feel colors, or they can, you know, see, like, do you think in music?
Kind of. I mean, I guess I have a really like weird way of describing things. And I know theory and I know how to describe things technically, but I'm always like, oh, I want that to sound like a sunburst or whatever. And yeah, sometimes I just kind of tie moments and feelings and sometimes colors with what I want to happen in my music. Definitely I write down color notes like all the time. I've been obsessed with like purple lights lately. I'm like, I'm going to make a song that sounds like purple lights. Another example is the book Valley of the Dolls. Really love it. I was kind of having writer's block and I was like, all right, I'm going to write a song that is the red pill, the yellow pill, and the green pill in Valley of the Dolls. And I, really like was trying to write about the female experience because I had read that book and it blew my mind that basically I could identify with all the women in the book. And the book was written in the 50s and the 60s and, they're having that experience then and I'm still having the same experience now. And so I was trying to, explain through music what I felt from that book. And I was like, all right, what's going to do it for me is, the red pill that, makes them drowsy and sleep and whatever. And this is what society's trying to do to them. And this is the feeling that you get from it. And the green pill that's like an upper. And so, yeah, like I try to use weird abstract ways to like really get visceral.
Yeah, I love that. I sometimes when I'm writing like a screenplay or I'm writing poetry or something, not like I'm a songwriter, but just I love writing, and I will like write in colors.
That's
like
awesome.
in my mind, I'd be like, oh, I'm just feeling like purple right now, like in whatever the color is, and then you sit there and you write, and I'm just like feeling a color, and I don't know how else to explain it. So sometimes I want to know if other people are as crazy
on that
as you.
wavelength.
Weird?
Yeah. No, I'm totally weird also.
Yeah, we love it. We like weird.
Weird is good though. Weird is what makes good art. I feel like
it does 100%.
So what are some of the proudest moments you've had so far, or like the projects that you really want people to go and listen to?
Yeah.
I wrote a song called Solstice, which I released last year.
Yeah, that's
we did listen to that one. Yes.
Yeah. It's a future bass kind of song because I wrote it with my friend Kevin, who is a future bass artist, EDM producer in New York. And it was a really cool collaboration because we both got to bring our own creativity to the table. I'm not necessarily a future bass artist, but like I got to learn that basically. And the story is like something really deeply personal to me. And it started from a poem that I had written. And it's like a little bit flowery and a little bit like abstract for pop music. But I really feel like I was able to kind of explain my experience through that song.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So collaborating, I'm one of
that's a whole different
thing. I love collaborating, but if I'm directing a piece or I've written something, it's hard to not get attached to your work.
Yeah.
And to be like, wait, no, I don't like that particular sound, and not trust the person.
Or even standing up for yourself and knowing this is the right decision to make. So how is collaborating for you?
It's a delicate balance because when I was writing with producers that were also emerging in New York, so a few friends that were working on producing in the same way I was working on pop music, I felt that I had to give them creative freedom with the song because it's for both of us. It wasn't just for me. And that carried over into a little bit of my professional career as I started to meet with producers and work with them. Professionally, I, was like, okay, you tell me what I am and I'll do it, Had an experience like that with the guy that I was telling you about, like, that wanted me to be like Little Kim. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not Little Kim. But what I've learned in the past, 6 months, I'd say, is knowing when to take advice. And a great producer will know when to give advice as well, and when to give notes. And so I've had experiences where I've worked with somebody who's like, oh, I don't want to step on your toes. You're the artist. I'm not going to tell you anything, unless you ask. And that's a challenge in itself because you kind of have to ask for it. You have to say, hey, I'm not sure about this line here. And you kind of have to know what you're not sure about, which is hard, yeah.
Especially in the beginning, right? Especially in the early working with people.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a challenge there. And it's also a challenge when you have somebody who's trying to tell you what you are all the time, because then you have to kind of say, hey, I don't want to sing this line. I'm not going to do this. I'm really lucky right now to be working with somebody who just wants my 100% honesty. And I know because he's letting me have total creative free reign on the foundation of our songs, that any input that he gives me is going to be something I'm going to want to consider, because he's letting the foundation be me, and then he's helping me to elevate it.
Absolutely. And you were telling us off air a little bit about this guy. So do you want to share any of that, the upcoming stuff?
Yeah, totally. My middle school girl self is fangirling. I used to sit with a group of girls at lunch in middle school who all love the Jonas Brothers. And I wasn't the biggest fangirl, but I was like, oh, they're kind of good and they're cute, But anyways, I'm working with PJ Bianco. PJ has been producing for the Jonas Brothers back in the day. And he's worked with a lot of other female artists that I aspire to, like Demi Lovato. And he's worked with JoJo, who's low-key, high-key, my all-time favorite pop artist.
Awesome.
I know she was only around for a minute and now she's back, but I don't know, I've always loved her super passionately. So when I saw that, I was like, what?
You're yep, that's a sign.
Yeah,
it's a sign.
And I was driving to meet him for the first time, and I was listening to his discography, and it's so diverse, and everything he does is amazing. So he's producing a band called Arizona right now. They're with Atlantic Records.
I know Arizona.
Yeah, they just played Coachella. I saw them. They were great. So yeah, it's crazy. It's wild that you could work with people that worked with people you aspire to be like. So
it's such a good feeling because it feels like you've arrived.
Yeah, definitely. I'm I know that this is a major stepping stone, so I'm excited about it.
Well, I'm so glad that you're on this up wave.
I know. I can't wait for you.
I can't wait for you. I'm
so excited.
Firework.
So who are some of your musical inspirations? You said JoJo. You said kind of the Jonas Brothers, just because of who you're working with now. But who are some of your musical inspirations? The first people that led you to be I want to do what they're doing. How do I do that? Give me a guitar. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my dad listened to Led Zeppelin. They're my favorite rock band.
Yes.
I heard that you love rock and roll.
Yes, I do.
They're a fave. Definitely, I think vocally, there's some rock and roll to my voice. Then as a child, I was obsessed with Hilary Duff. I don't know if it has an influence on me, but I listened to her enough that she had to have some kind of
and that pop influence. You say you love pop music, and I mean I remember I had younger sisters, and Hilary Duff was a staple in my home. My sister would ask me to braid just pieces of her hair. You know what I mean?
I did that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did that to my own hair too. And we that movie that she was in where she became the pop star. What was it called? Oh my god,
the Lizzie McGuire movie.
There you go, the Lizzie McGuire movie. Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too, honestly. So yeah, that was I mean, every kid wants to be a pop star, right?
Totally.
At some point. And look at you.
And the whole idea of pop queens, I loved. I loved all of them. Britney, Christina, all the queens.
Britney.
We love Britney.
Yes.
Oh my god.
We love Britney.
I just got so excited because I just thought of Britney Spears.
Yes, she's amazing.
Also, the older I get, the more everybody says this, but it's totally true. The older you get, the more you understand Britney in 2007 shaking her head off, just screw you guys.
Life gets hard sometimes. And, we've all
so
been there.
close to pulling a Britney.
I've been so close. I've been I work for my dad, and sometimes he's oh, your hair looks real nice today. And I'm would you rather me just shave it off? What do you want me to do?
You're I'm going to get to that point, Dad.
Yeah.
But right now, I Well, I love Ariana Grande. That's like a given. I feel like that's almost like a base level.
Amazing. She brought out my favorite pop band of all time.
Insane.
Oh my god.
It was so good.
I was never a boy band fan. I'm just
you're
like,
silly, Sally.
Yeah, I mean, I like Timberlake.
I was a Backstreet Boys kind of girl.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. We might have just made an enemy.
People used to fight about this all the time, and I'm like, I'm going to go listen to Bob Dylan. Bye.
That's
pretty cool. That's all I would
Juliet used to think that the song Cocaine was propane.
Well, I was a child and I didn't know what cocaine was yet.
So she would run around going, propane, picks you up when you're down.
That's amazing. I have a similar story about that song. No Diggity. I always thought it was No Dignity. I was like, oh, you have no dignity, so you're going to back it up. And
that makes sense, actually.
That makes actually way more sense than propane.
I just found out that it's not that. But anyways.
That's so cute.
Right now I'd say like, I don't think that I make the same kind of music as her, but I'm so inspired by Maggie Rogers. I saw her at Coachella. I loved her album before I saw her, but I just like wept for her hour-long set as I listened to her because she's the realest, like most authentic human making music right now, I think. Like just she leaves her whole heart on the stage and everybody feels it. And just the way the town was crowded, I was like, this girl, I hope she's on main stage like in 2 seconds because she's amazing.
Yeah.
That happens at Coachella a lot. You'll see, and that's what I love about Coachella especially, is I don't usually go for the headliners. I love going to the little stages, seeing someone and being like 3 years, main stage.
That's why we used to like
I was
to
a
camp.
part of the beginning.
Exactly. That's why we used to like to camp because we wanted to be there like when the gates opened for those first acts that were coming in. And then we'd like, go hang out in the middle of the day at the camp. But yeah, I mean, being there for those new and emerging artists, like my friend's little brother's in the Neighborhood. That band.
Oh, cool, yeah.
I love
Mikey.
the Neighborhood.
Yeah,
I do too.
and so I remember their very first Coachella, and I like walked up to the stage, and
They
Mikey
early.
Mikey came out and gave me a hug though, and
He did.
and like everybody was like, "Oh my god, you know them?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've known him since he was like a small child, like a very small child. This is not weird or cool to me. I've known him forever, but yeah, it's really cool to see even him, like him and his band have like gone leaps and bounds from that one time they were on a stage at Coachella. I think they've gone back now too, but yeah.
I hope they have. Yeah, I really fangirled over Neighborhood for a while. I thought the lead singer was so hot. I don't know why.
Jesse?
He's just so freaking. What is wrong with me?
For a long time too. I knew
so
him.
Hot.
They used to like
He's
play.
He's not my type at all.
No. He's also
He's a singer.
He's also very young.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, sorry. I just fangirled over the Neighborhood.
I love it.
But yeah, Lindsay knew them. She turned me on to him, and
I like took her to the Key Club when they were like. Mikey wasn't even like 18 yet, and they were playing at like the Key Club, and I was like, Juliet, like they put me on the list. Come on, let's go.
I was like, fine. And
they
were great,
and they were awesome. I'm like, you're gonna like it. Just shut up and come.
They're awesome.
That's our relationship. Lindsay's like, shut up and do this. I'm like, oh no, and then I do it, and it's great.
You're like, I don't regret it.
And I don't regret it. What was I gonna say? So. Your musical journey, I guess you started off just kind of learning to write poems and kind of singer-songwriter, and now you're getting into pop.
Yeah.
Where's the shift?
Yeah, where did the shift happen?
I think I've just like, I've always wanted to do pop, but I mean, doing pop music requires collaboration, which we were going to talk about. And I didn't have that at the beginning. I just kind of like, I grew up in Florida. Like, I mean, there wasn't a lot of people doing what I was doing back home. I mean, if anything, I think I like collaborated with like some people that were in our like marching band in a talent show once, but I didn't have anybody else who like really was into it. So I just had my guitar and I would just like write songs about life. But the thing about pop is that if you can write a really solid song simply on the guitar or the piano, it can be a great pop song. And then like with a great producer, it just gets like the great beat. It gets all the embellishments that it needs to hopefully become a hit. So once the doors started opening to collaborate with people, which honestly, I did my first song with a friend of mine who was like, I kind of want to like learn how to produce. And I was like, I'm trying to write pop music. Let's do this together. Then another producer who was a little bit more like established heard it and he wanted to work together. And then another one. And then I had a catalog of stuff to show people and, and try to get hopefully bigger people to work with me. And it's worked. So that's kind of where the shift happened. It happened naturally. And I've been teaching myself to produce for myself too, because now what's cool is like if I write a song on the guitar, then I can make a beat on my computer and I can kind of suggest what kind of production I want and I can really control like the whole vibe and story of my song.
And you're coming to the table with a lot of firepower.
Yeah,
doing that. Like if you have to collaborate, you're like, this is what I want. Can we expand upon what I already have, which is fantastic.
You can basically send those notes over with whatever you're already sending and say, this is the feel I already have for the song, so like let's elaborate on that.
You do it better because you're the pro. Yeah. I mean, I was really inspired by Grimes.
Love Grimes.
Love her so
Fell
much.
in love with her at Lightning in a Bottle.
I can't remember any of these
like,
names that you guys mentioned. I'm like, I love them.
She's so cool. I'll never be as cool as her, but whatever.
No one ever will be.
No one will be as
I'm
cool
like,
as her.
how you're like just an anime goddess,
Yeah.
but whatever. But yeah, no, I heard her talking about how like male producers never really took her seriously, and like she couldn't get what she wanted out of them more or less because they just kind of thought she was a singer.
Yeah.
And so that kind of empowered me to try and teach myself. So I could at least go into the studio and I could say, more reverb, less reverb, like put this plug-in on it, etc.
Yeah, I mean, you come in, it's always better to have your arsenal full because people will just take you at face value until you tell them you're not.
Yeah,
Face value.
it's tough too because like being a singer, specifically a singer, I do play instruments and whatnot, but what I do is pop music and I sing mostly. There's kind of a bad rap and there's like a bad history of like singers kind of being taken advantage of in the worst possible way or even just a mild way, and I didn't want to be that.
Yeah.
You don't really seem like you can be taken advantage of.
Yeah,
so I just want to say
she's
that.
Pretty badass. She's very small, but she is very badass. So
thank you.
Also, just like wait till you see her outfit because like I'm just mad. I just came from work.
I'm in workout clothes. It's fine. So I love when you mentioned like you can take a small song and turn it poppy, and I love listening to music like that. I can't think of a song right now, but you'll hear the original.
Or the acoustic
and now
version.
It's been like remade, and now Skrillex is doing a remix of it, and you're like, wait a second, and you go back and seeing just the journey that one song takes is also such a cool thing about music.
If that foundation's there and it's something like real and like I mean, humans are attracted to certain melodies and stuff, then I think that whatever you do with it, it can still have its own life but still be the same song.
You are pretty much on like the precipice of amazingness.
Yeah, seriously.
You're like right on the edge, and it's so cool to see your energy and that flow and that vibe that just kind of comes off of you because you have a very infectious personality.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's nice. So what do you do on days when you're not you? When you're having a bad day, or our industry is so many ups and downs, right? You're gonna get 100 no's before you get a yes, and it's so when you get a yes, you're like hold on to it with all you got. So what do you do personally to get through days where you're not?
Yeah, I was having a week like that. Literally the day after I met my producer, he was like, go home and write some songs. So I go home and I'm like, oh my God, I have to write songs for this guy, that's like really like he's a big deal to me. And I just like had the worst writer's block, and I was tired all week because I was like, doing all the things I have to do in the day and then going home and writing and like hating everything and whatnot. So definitely when I have like a ridiculous amount of writer's block, and I've just like, I do challenge myself to write through the writer's block, but if I'm really trying and nothing's happening for me, I let myself take a hot bath and like chill the hell out and just like, I'm like, okay, tomorrow's another day. And I make sure to schedule something so that I don't stress about it in the moment. Like, oh, I didn't do the thing I was supposed to do. I know that, okay, tomorrow, at 5:00, I'm going to have a session with myself. And then I also try and kind of look back on my notes and like voice memos and everything to kind of remind myself of like, what are things that it made you feel that strongly. And photos even too. There's one time I had to write a song real quick, like for somebody I was working with, and they were like, okay, write a song like this, go. And I like walked around the pool and I was just like flipping through my phone, like, what am I going to write about? And I saw this photo of me on my birthday, the story I was telling you guys about how like it was a very like vibrant night. I'd gotten dumped the night before, and I saw the graffiti on the walls at a Clockwork place in New York, and I was like, that's what I'm going to write about. And so yeah, like visual things stimulate me, and definitely like being real with yourself when you need to self-care and like get some R&R and your brain can't do it. You just have to let yourself do it. And also writing every single day. So even if it's complete just like something. Garbage and bullshit, like just challenge yourself to like write the thing. And there's plenty of songs that I've written where I'm like, wow, that's really dumb, but I did it and I got it out, and I got one step closer and I learned something else about songwriting.
And I bet you can even like later in life, you may even be able to go back to those like dumb songs and pull like 3 lines from them and be like, wait, I can do something with that.
Totally. I have these like lines that are in my mind that I like kind of carry to every song, but I'm like, is it gonna work here? Okay, no. Maybe. And like now, like for instance, one is working in this song that I'm working now. So
Hey,
Yeah.
You're just filling your deck with inspiration.
Totally.
Yeah. Like my phone is full of notes for shows and scripts and and as a creative, I think that you have to just do that because it's on your mind. You put it down, and like you said, you just try it, keep trying it, keep knocking on those doors.
Absolutely. And just letting yourself like feel is really important too. Like that's something actually Maggie said on stage. She was like, I just want, like, we're so bad at feeling, like I just want you to just like let yourself feel for the next whatever long, you know, my set is. And, you know, since hearing that from her, of course I knew it before, but I've challenged myself to, you know, if I'm feeling something, don't just push it away and try to be passive or get over it. I want to like explore what the feeling is.
That's beautiful, and that's true. We all need to take more seconds and moments to feel our emotions. Not too much. Sometimes it's depressing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not fun.
So if people love you, as they should.
Yeah, as they should.
Where's the best place to find you, to find your music, and you having upcoming shows, or people should look out for you?
Yeah, I'm most active on the gram.
At what? How do we find you?
Anie _ is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Delgado. And my first name has one N, so it's ANIE _ Delgado, DELGADO. And everything's linked there. My music's on Spotify, it's on SoundCloud, it's on iTunes, it's on Tidal if you use that. I make that joke literally every time I perform too. It's not funny anymore because Tidal came out like forever ago, but I'm there.
My little sister uses Tidal, so she would appreciate that.
A person.
A person, one.
Also, like, I didn't realize, what's that one thing that we used to use? It's like some kind of radio thing way back in the day. Napster.
Napster.
It's still a thing, and my music is there.
This girl is old school.
Oh my God.
Thank you, CD Baby. That's how I'm still independent, but that's how I was releasing my music through CD Baby, and they make sure they get literally everything, including Napster.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's there. And new music's coming, like, real soon. I don't have a date yet, but, like, you know, within the next month or two for sure.
And you said merch too. Merch should be out in like a week or so. So make sure to check out Anie. She is adorable.
Is the merch going to be on your website?
Oh yeah.
Yes. I will be posting about it on Instagram real soon. It is a collaboration with one of my best friends. She's a illustrator in Atlanta, Georgia. Her name's Catherine Lowe. And she, like, speaking of Hilary Duff, I love, like, Lizzie McGuire, like, the little woman lady that she had. So I had Kate design my very own mini Anie.
Oh my gosh.
And that'll be in the merch. So that's coming out soon.
Oh my God, adorable.
Thank you for sharing your light with our guests and with us. And guys, she's such
She's
a
incredible.
hustling, like, boss babe. Definitely check her out. I love your energy. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I was going to have you sing, but our acoustics in here are terrible.
Yeah, we have like a very open
So instead,
room.
Lindsay will take us out.
Thanks so much for listening to Clearly Off Topic, you guys. If Juliet claps near the mic again, I will punch her in the face. I'm sorry to everyone.
I wanted Lindsay to sing, but she's not going to sing.
I don't sing.
I was waiting for it too.
This has been Clearly Off Topic.
Oh my God, we are not ending with that. I love you guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.